friends, Ashley from Wildwoods&Homestead. I filmed a week in our life a couple of weeks ago. We were getting ready for a local market, and that same week we had our fan system arrive for cooling our greenhouse. So Geoff and his dad really needed to get that in because we were hitting some pretty high temperatures and we were struggling to keep it cool enough. So we were kind of hitting some areas where we were losing plants, and we needed to get this fan system in. It had taken Geoff a little bit of time to track a fan system down that would properly fit the size of our greenhouse. He was finding that most of the systems were either too small or too big, and he finally found one. Originally, he was just using those little yellow fans to try to draw air in and draw air out, but it just wasn't enough. So they're cutting a larger opening at the end here to install a larger fan, and then on the other end they cut two openings and they will put louvers in, and I have another video showing them doing that, but for this week they were just putting the fan in. I'm also sharing in this video how we got ready for our market, and some cutting soap, labeling soap, and getting the products ready that we make and sell. I also did some bouquets for this market, and that was really fun. So I just take you guys along as we get ready for that. The first thing that I'm sharing here is just a little bit of the greenhouse work, and Geoff had insulated both ends of the greenhouse with this. It's a rock insulation. So the first thing he needed to do was just remove the portion where he was putting the fan, and then they were just framing that in down there. And I had some work to do in the greenhouse, so I took that opportunity to work a little bit and film a little bit to share how we're continuing to get this greenhouse ready to hopefully grow all year. Our goal is to be able to cool it in the summer, the few weeks, yeah, probably a little longer than that, where we have super high temperatures that kill everything off in there. We're trying to get it to a pretty stable temperature to be able to grow through that season. And then he has a heating system that he is going to wire in, and we will heat it with our off-grid wood burner. And we use that off-grid wood burner to also heat our house as well as our water. So here's the fan, and they're gonna take it along the ledge there. Most of our journey of building, I have either been pregnant or breastfeeding. So I left this little scene in. Kevin had gotten his suspenders stuck, and it was a little bit of a moment like, and I kind of feel like so much of the time with being pregnant or breastfeeding throughout our journey, I haven't been able to help as much as I would like with some of the heavier tasks of building. But I feel like one of my jobs has been to stand in the background and just pray for these guys, because it has only been these two guys from day one. When we started building, our entire acreage was treed, and Kevin, Geoff's dad, started by just cutting trees down with his chainsaw and cutting out a trail that eventually would lead to become our driveway today. And then every day that he could be out here, he would just be cutting trees to open up a space for our house. After that, Geoff did rent an excavator, and we had our neighbors who had an excavator out, and he came and helped them clear stumps. I think a day he did that, but mostly it was just Geoff and his dad renting small equipment and digging the stumps out to clear an area to start digging the foundation for our house. And it's been like that from day one and to where we are today. I think one of the most harrowing days was putting up the rafters of our house. I remember standing in where is now my kitchen, and all we had were the framed walls up, and it was February. It was really cold out. There was a sleet type of snow, and it was very slippery. And the worst thing I think I saw the guys do was pull a huge rafter up on our house by hand, just with pulleys and ropes. And Geoff, I remember him just, straddling that rafter and up really high. And it was pretty scary, but it's just been our reality. So yeah, I often feel like my job is just praying for those guys and their safety, and then the kids and I would come through and try to clean up the construction site as best that we could, just to try to help them in any little way that we could. I'm also just sharing a little bit of making bouquets and collecting flowers, and this is something that I really love doing, and it's something I've wanted to do for years and years, and it's taken me several years to learn how to grow anything out here. We have a really harsh climate. We are zone 3, so we do have really harsh winters, but we also have really dry, hot summers, and the ground is hard, and we have a lot of clay. So it has taken several years to even figure out a way to garden out here. So I've kind of taken on a lot of different methods, and the method that we are doing this year is a no-till method, and we are just mulching the walkways and mulching the soil where we are growing, trying to protect the soil. We are not tilling the soil. We've actually never tilled the soil because we just simply did not have a tiller. So I'm finding the no-till method to actually be really interesting and a lot easier as we layer on manure or fresh mulch. I find that the gardens are so easy to take care of. If I do have weeds, the weeds are super easy to just quickly pull out because the soil is just breaking down so nicely. I did put down some fertilizer this year. I used something called Gaia Green, and it is a natural fertilizer. It has seaweed in it and some other, I can't remember everything else, like bone meal and a few other things. It's not a synthetic fertilizer, so I felt pretty good about using that this year. And I think I'm seeing results from that, but my understanding is that when growing a cover crop or putting down fertilizer, it isn't that the plants necessarily take up the fertilizer, it's that they are fed by the bacteria that utilizes the nutrients in the soil. So I am still learning about all of that, and I don't know if I quite explain that very well, but that is the best of my understanding so far.